everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Emily, and I feel like this video might be a little different, kind of weird, so just bear with me. But apparently, I'm not a real Lego fan. Now, this sounds super ridiculous, right? Like, obviously, I love Lego. I eat, sleep, breathe Lego. Like, Lego has basically engulfed my life over the past year or so. But I've actually heard this from people recently, just saying I'm not a real Lego fan for whatever reason. And the first time you hear that, you're like, oh, that's kind of ridiculous, you know? Like, obviously, I love Lego. Like, I would not be here if I didn't enjoy this. But then you hear it again and again, a few more times, and you're like, what am I doing wrong? Like, am I not a real Lego fan? You kind of start to question yourself, you know? It's like, what am I doing wrong? Like, what am I doing that would make someone think that I'm not a real Lego fan? And of course, in general, like, if you've been watching this channel for a while, you know that this is a very positive, kind of happy corner on the internet. Like, I really do try to make these videos very upbeat, and this video will be the same, even though it does kind of start from, like, negativity and negative comments. I feel like it's a good talking point and something that I've really thought about a lot lately. It's something that kind of happens in the Lego community a lot, so here we are. I do want to give a huge thank you to the overwhelming majority of people that are just so kind and welcoming. Like, thank you so much for being here. This is seriously the best community on YouTube, so I appreciate y'all so much. But anyways, bringing it back to Lego and the whole purpose of this video. So apparently I'm a fake fan because I changed my mind about what I like through time. So like, in the past, I used to not like certain themes and now I do, or maybe like I used to like them and now I don't like them as much, and it applies to sets as well. There's definitely sets out there that I was like, yes, I'm so excited for this, I'm buying it, and now it just sits on my shelf and I'm like, why are you still here? Some sets that I own definitely don't bring me that much joy, and that's okay. Like, it's totally okay to change your mind through time. So the whole purpose of this video and what I want to talk about today is, what does it mean to be a Lego fan? Talk about gatekeeping in the hobby and in the Lego community, and also that it's totally okay and normal to change your preferences about Lego through time. So first, let's go back to the topic of being a fake fan. So I was thinking, like, what does that mean? And then also, what does it mean to be a Lego fan? So obviously, a Lego fan probably enjoys Lego to some extent, right? They probably have a Lego set, they enjoy it. A Lego fan also probably buys Lego for themselves or gives Lego as gifts, right? Like, as adults, we buy it for ourselves because we have jobs. But when you're a kid, you can't do that. So of course, you're gonna be getting Lego as gifts from parents or relatives, other friends maybe. But then also, as a whole, the Lego community is so diverse, right? So there's people that love building. Like, that's the main thing they enjoy about Lego, is building sets. They might take them apart, rebuild it, and they really pay attention to the details. Like, they're just totally engulfed in the build process, and that's really cool. There's people who love to display their Lego sets, and that's me. I definitely fall into that category. Like, I find great pleasure in rearranging my Lego displays and trying to make it look very uncluttered, very minimalist, even though Lego is very much not a minimalist kind of hobby. At least for me, I don't think that I can be a minimalist and a Lego collector. There's also a huge sub-community in the Lego community of mock builders, and they'll buy bulk Lego parts and build really cool creations. They might buy an official Lego set and then like build something different with it. And that's how we end up with rebrickables and that kind of thing. And then there's of course Lego city builders, which we also fall into that category. And these are people that enjoy combining Lego sets and creating villages and cities and just like telling a story, I guess, with their Lego sets. So even though the Lego community is very niche on its own, having all these other little niches inside it make it really fun. Like, there's so many different types of people that interact with Lego in totally different ways. But then moving on from all of that, right? Like, Lego is a very expensive hobby. I think we can all agree on that. Lego is quite expensive. It's a whole argument on whether it's overpriced or just expensive or whatever, but we'll just save that for another time. And you know, there's gotta be people out there that maybe can't afford Lego, but they enjoy going to the Lego store, looking around, seeing all the cool displays, or maybe just the boxes, you know? And it's like, well, are they Lego fans? And I'm like, sure, you know, if you're enjoying Lego in any sort of way and you self-identify as a Lego fan, then you can be a Lego fan. Like, I'm not gonna gatekeep how much of a Lego fan you are. But while we're on the topic of gatekeeping, let's just get into that for a little bit. I have found that people love gatekeeping each other's hobbies, right? Like, I'm a bigger fan, I'm a better fan, like, I have more Lego than you, so I know more, like, I've been into it since birth. And this kind of gatekeeping doesn't only exist in Lego, right? Like, this exists everywhere. Let's look at Harry Potter. I think we've all met the kind of person I'm about to talk about, and they don't mean it in a malicious way, or at least I hope not, but there's definitely Harry Potter fans out there that are like, well, if you haven't read the books, you have no business seeing the movies. And my attitude towards this is like, you know, just let people enjoy what they want. Like, if they haven't read the book, that's okay, you know? Like, you being mad at them about it isn't gonna make them want to read the book anymore. Or like, same with Marvel fans. With the obvious popularity of the MCU, there's been so many more Marvel fans over the last few years, and like, myself is included in that. And I've definitely never read any of the Marvel comics before, but I enjoy the movies. Like, I love going. We go on release day pretty much like every time there's a new movie coming out. But very similar to Harry Potter, there's a bunch of Marvel fans that are just very hardcore comic book fans, and they're very much like, you know, if you haven't read the comics, then how dare you watch the movies? And I'm just sitting in the back here like, just let people enjoy what they want, you know? And those are just some common examples I've seen of gatekeeping people in other hobbies, but of course it happens in Lego, right? Like, for me personally, I have a Lego city, and I've been told multiple times that my Lego city is not indeed a Lego city. It is just sets on a table. And I think that's absolutely ridiculous, because first of all, like, then where am I supposed to put it? Like, if it's not on a table, like, it's just kind of ridiculous. But also, that's just kind of what a Lego city is, you know? And I'm like, well, what should I be doing differently? Like, what would make it a real Lego city? Like, a full-on mock-built Lego city? I just really don't know. But then there's a bunch of people in the hobby that have been into Lego since birth, right? So, like, that's my husband. He grew up with Duplo sets. I only discovered it, like, 2 or 3 years ago. And even then, I wasn't full-on, like, hardcore Lego fan until mid-2020, I would say. And I feel like this makes for a really good topic for discussion, right? Because even though I haven't been into Lego as long as most of you guys out there, it doesn't mean that I like Lego any less, but I will say it definitely means that I'm not as knowledgeable about the history of Lego, or like, not really the history, more like build techniques through time, or like if a piece is new. Because when I was first getting into the Lego YouTube community, I was absolutely blown away that people actually knew when a piece was new. Like, they would see a piece and be like, I've never seen this before, this is indeed a brand new piece. And I still do feel a little bit insecure as a Lego fan when that kind of thing happens, but you know, like, of course they know more than me. Like, they've been doing this way longer than I have. It's so much easier for them to say like, oh yeah, this is a new piece, this is a new color, like that kind of thing. And I often like to think of this YouTube channel as a representation of a new fan's journey into Lego, because I'm always discovering new things with Lego, whether it be retired themes that I never knew existed, or like older sets. So with gatekeeping in general, I just want to reiterate that it doesn't matter how long you've been a Lego fan, or how many sets you have, how much you spend per month, or anything like that. All that matters is that you are having a great time, you enjoy your hobby, you're being responsible with your spending, because we all enjoy Lego in our own way, and there's no correct way to be a Lego fan. With that being said though, what it means to be a Lego fan to you will also change through time, most likely. Like, you're probably not into the same Lego sets as you were when you were 4 or 5 years old. Like, your preferences are definitely going to change through time. And because most adult Lego fans got into Lego at a young age, this probably applies to most of you guys watching this, but then there's also newer fans. So newer fans are kind of weirdos, right? Like, we discovered Lego just out of the blue one day, and I feel like the most common way this happens is there's like one Lego set that really stands out to somebody, and they walk into the Lego store, buy that one, and then leave. And at that point, they're either like done with Lego, they don't want anything else, or they kind of venture back again when they see something else that catches their eye. And so most of the time with newer adult Lego fans, you start small, and that includes me. Like, I got one Lego set, and then I think 3 or 4 months later, I got my next one, and a few months go by and I get another one. And I'm not actually sure how common that is, but at least that's how I got into it, and I know other people got into it that way as well. But then as you're in the Lego store more and more often, you might venture away from the Disney sets. Like, I'm obviously a Disney fan, and you just kind of walk around looking at other sets that might catch your eye. So like, for me, I kind of started with like Scooby-Doo, and then Disney, then Star Wars, and then after that it was mostly like 18 plus or Lego Ideas type of sets. And there's definitely full-on themes at the Lego store that like 2 or 3 years ago I did not even care about. I looked at them, I was like, I'm never getting a set from that theme. Like, I just really don't care. And now I own multiple Ninjago sets and Friends sets, and so your preferences can definitely change through time. Like, as you're getting more and more into the hobby, you see sets from different themes and you're like, wait, that's actually really cool. Like, I don't know why I wasn't looking at those sets earlier. But then beyond just Lego sets, there's also the pick-a-brick wall there, you know? And I remember the first time being in the Lego store, like, why would you buy just bricks? Like, what can you build with that? And I didn't even know mock builders existed at that point. But now here I am years later, and I've even done some mocks of my own. Sometimes I even go down to the Lego store just to check out the pick-a-brick wall. And so through time, the things that I like about Lego have definitely expanded, which is kind of cool, you know? Like, I'm really excited about it. I have a very diverse Lego collection now, but at the same time, I spend a lot more money because there's just so many cool sets at the Lego store that catch my eye. So I don't know, it's like a good thing because I enjoy it, but I also spend a lot more money, so I don't really know how to feel about that. But going back to the point, just because you used to not like a Lego theme, like for example, Lego Friends used to very much not care for the theme. I even made videos saying that I didn't like it, but now I've done a total 180 and I really appreciate the sets. Mini dolls still aren't really like my thing, but I appreciate appreciate them, you know, minifigs, mini dolls, like you can't really compare them. And so overall, I guess I just want to finish this video by saying that like being a Lego fan is whatever you want it to be. Like don't let someone tell you you're not a Lego fan because you don't do blah blah, like whatever. If you enjoy Lego to any extent, then you are indeed a real Lego fan. But then also with gatekeeping, like just let people enjoy what they want, you know? I think that's just really important. The Lego community as a whole is like the most positive place I have ever been in. And the group of people within the Lego community that do enjoy gatekeeping other Lego fans for whatever reason are definitely the minority. And also it is totally fine to change your mind about Lego sets or Lego themes through time. Like your preferences are naturally gonna change. And especially if you're new to Lego, you're gonna discover new things every day and you'll be like, wait, what's that? And like, that's kind of how I felt. So I totally relate to y'all if you're going through that. So thank you all so much for watching. I know this video is a little bit different than normal, but it's something I've been really thinking about a lot. So I figured I would make a video on it because I'm sure someone else needs to hear this too. I'd love to hear all your thoughts about this down in the comments below. Also, if you're not subscribed to my channel yet, please do consider doing so. I really appreciate it. Thank you again all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.